YouTube. So I tried looking up rear mount fox bodies and didn't really find very much, and I wanted to do a rear mount mainly for the stealth look, so I went ahead and built my own. This is an eBay intercooler. It's 30 inches by 15 inches, 3-inch inlet on both sides. Everything that's on here is just mainly for mock-up. Everything's just tacked. I smoothed the engine bay in the process of putting in a roll cage. But this is a eBay 3-inch aluminum intercooler piping. Very nice quality. I got the one that had the fabric in the couplers to help with expansion. I ran it down there, and you can see the blow-off valve's nice and hidden. Made my own lower radiator support. Cut the front of the frame off. I made this just using a simple pipe bender from Harbor Freight, and I just have a Eastwood MiG 135 and their plasma VersaCut. Both work really well. It's enough to do the job that I need to do. Couple brackets out of 1/2-inch steel. These gussets, I got a 10-pack of them from Jegs. You can see how I fashioned that. Mounted the bottom. And I'm running it up through the fender and around. You can see pipe. I'm going to cut it into the floor there and weld a piece of pipe in. Use couplers so I don't have to worry about chafing. Now, as far as rear mount, I deleted the seats. You can see I've braced up the floor. A rear seat delete will go right on top of this from Scott Rod with Zoots fastener, so it's quickly removable. Going to divide it here so that air intake holes through the floor. It will get cold air and won't breathe in the hot air from the turbo. It's just a mock-up turbo. It's a cheap one from eBay. I have my actual precision turbo in storage. Extra speed blow-off valve and wastegate. Got it for $200 from Amazon. Super nice quality V-band clamps. Comes with the mounting hardware and everything. This is just temporary. The whole exhaust will be redone once I get everything finalized, cut, and fit to where I want it. I ran a set of long tube headers, headman, cut the collector off, and welded on a 3-inch to 2.5 reducer with a 2.5-inch V-band. Those V-bands are from Rev 9, super high quality, come with the clamp. They're the interlocking kind, which are super nice. 2.5s. I got impatient, didn't want to wait on the 45 to come from Jegs, so I just cut the pipe and made it bend for mock-up purposes. Merges into 3 right here. It has a mount that holds it to my drive shaft safety loop. Those are from Stainless Works. This is a Vibrant Performance flex joint. It's totally solid inside, but the outside allows flexibility, which is good for expansion. 3-inch all the way back, and you can see V-band mount where I ran it. The exhaust, everything's very tightly packed in here, not a whole lot of room. The headers barely have clearance. It's tightest on that side. And this is another 2.5-inch intercooler piping also from eBay, about 90 bucks for all that plus what I've used. I'm going to go ahead and run the cold side through inside the floor. So I'll run it from here through the cover that will eventually cover this, down the side of the floor. I'll have to chop this brace out and run it to, this is a mock-up, from there up. I have a roll cage from Jegs that I'm in the process of installing now, so that way I can run the piping and not have any interference. So aluminum heads, it's going to be a dart block. This is just a mock-up block, it's empty. This is another eBay special, the pulley set. I'm going to make a custom bracket to mount the AC condenser down here at the bottom. Fabricated aluminum valve covers, also from eBay. eBay and Jegs, basically everything. I went with a vent tank with two -8 AN lines that I ran out of the back of the valve cover. This is a bulkhead connector meant for fuel cell work, but it worked good for going to the back of the valve covers. I'll have to have somebody weld aluminum baffle inside. I do not have the capability to weld aluminum, but yeah, my plan is to get it totally built, and I'm going to do the paint and body work. I'll start posting videos for the roll cage and everything from now on. I'm doing 3-inch fender flares, steel, make them myself, front and rear. Doing the body work, paint. Everything will be done right here in this little 10 by 20 with some basic hand tools, a welder and a plasma cutter. So I just really wanted to try to show that you can do something yourself. Just because they don't sell it doesn't mean you can't have it. And I really like the idea of having the turbo in the back, so it's not in the engine bay heating everything up. Plus I like to do a little street racing, and people will never suspect what's going to hit them. My plan is 1,000 horsepower. I'm going to have the car, the plan is to have it done by October and race it in the half mile in Ocala, where I took my Roush last January. I did 156 in the Roush, and I'm hoping to beat it with this car. Another little interesting thing is from Eastwood. Got a dimple die set, a 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, and 1 inch. This is the 1 inch here. It was pretty cheap, about $100 for the 3 of them. They work really good, very nice quality. You know, I have the ability to spend a massive amount of money, like a lot of people do, on their project, and I just don't want to. I work very hard for my money, and I want to get the most value for my dollar, but I don't want to compromise on quality or performance. So the important things are high dollar things like MSD, comp cams. I have Eagle rotating assembly. It's just going to be a you know, pretty basic build. Everything's right out of a catalog, no fancy stuff. Plan on continuing the roll cage through to here, and I have a full 12-point cage that I'm working on installing now, but this is just some simple stuff I did, like covering the holes in the engine bay. I bought these from American Muscle. They fit like shit, to be honest, and I had to cut them up quite a bit to get them to fit into this car. Smooth the frame rails with just some 18 gauge, same that covers these holes eventually back there. Going to also make a 2.5 inch cowl induction hood out of the stock hood using steel and my plasma cutter and welder. It's a neat little thing. I bought these valve covers blank for 60 bucks from eBay. I bought this Moroso oil fill cap. It's able to be bolted on. Works very nicely. These cylinder heads are from eBay as well. These are Pro Comp aluminum cylinder heads, 190 cc, very nice quality. Stainless steel exhaust valves, stainless steel intake. It's a 202 and a 1600. It'll only handle a 530 lift with the stock springs, but you can upgrade the springs to run a bigger cam. I just plan on running I have an F series 303 Ford Performance cam I'm going to use because it'll work with forced induction. Another thing, this is a SVE radiator kit, electric fans, very nice here. This hose, nice, fits, SVE logos are out. The bottom hose, the SVE logos on the side, and I don't know if you can see that, but the hose is kinked right here because it wants to be up here, which is where the transcooler is. It's about 3 inches above. The other thing I didn't care for was the cheap looking mounting tabs that came with this. I made a bracket and dimple dyed it, you can see, and bolted it to that. And this is a little annoying as well. Right loosens the cap. I broke it when I first got it because I didn't know, and nowhere does it say that it is opposite to remove it. Other than that, it is pretty nice. It's good quality chrome. I'm going to powder coat the majority of the parts that are on here and paint everything else. I have a little homemade powder coating set up. I can show you guys that. It's about 200 bucks to get set up, and it's pretty easy. I can show a little tutorial on how to do it, and you can turn out some nice quality. I'm going to split the alternator case, chrome it, chrome the power steering, water pump. The intake is going to end up being changed. I decided to go with a Phytech Go EFI 8, which is a power adder ready self-learning EFI, because the money it costs to buy an ECU that'll work with a foxbody is outrageous, and then you have to spend the money tuning it or figure out how to tune it yourself. It doesn't come with the software most time. So with that, I'll go to a carbureted manifold with a fuel injected throttle body mounted on top of 4150 flange, and for $1,700 it comes with the pumps. It's ready to support 25 pounds of boost and 1200 horsepower. It's very easy to tune, comes with everything needed, and that is just the option I chose. Seen a lot of people run the Mega Squirt or the Micro Squirt. They don't have enough flexibility for me. They do batch injection or semi-sequential, which I didn't care for. So you're going to have dead spark and dead fuel sitting in the intake, and I just didn't care for that idea versus the benefits versus the price just wasn't worth it. By the time I bought it, learned how to use it, it's going to be too difficult for me. I'm no expert whatsoever. Just a regular guy who likes to work on cars, so I figured I'd start showing some videos of it, and maybe somebody else will get inspired to get out there and work on their car. I bought all new seals and all new trim and everything for the car, glass, all through late model restoration. They have a lot of really good quality parts. Another little tip I learned: if you go to a tall valve cover like this, the throttle body, no matter which way you clock it, will hit the valve cover. So I had to buy an intake manifold spacer of 1 inch to make up the difference. In hindsight, I'm not going to use any of it now, but it'll be up for sale soon. Somebody will get a good deal. I'll sell it pretty cheap. I also bought the Trick Flow EGR Delete, very nice. Stainless steel bolts, comes with the gaskets, which as you can see do not fit very well, maybe because mine's an aftermarket intake and a throttle body, I'm not sure. And the other thing I was not very thrilled with is I bought an ARP engine fastener set, which ARP fasteners are top of the line, and I really like them, the look of them, the 12 point, but the problem is you can't put a wrench on here if it's too close for a wrench or a socket. Well, for the square end of the wrench, the 12 point, or the socket, then you're screwed. You can't grab it with a regular box end. But none of the bolts for the water pump work, or the alternator, so I have a huge supply of bolts that I paid a lot of money for that are no good. As you can see, all of these in the kit I couldn't use. I used very small amount, but I did go with ARP everything. Flywheel bolts, distributor stud, we got cam bolt, a balancer bolt, drive shaft, which is a must when you plan on spinning it up to 7,800, as do I. ARP head studs, super nice. I love the look of the head studs. I'm going to be running stud girdles, but I might switch to roller rocker or shaft mounted rockers. I haven't decided yet. This is a Max Speeding Rods T3 65 millimeter turbo, 4-inch inlet, 2.5-inch outlet. The exhaust is a T3 and the exit is the 4-bolt pattern. So I bought adapters, as you can see, to go from the T3 to a 3-inch V-band, and the exhaust 4-bolt to a 3-inch V-band. My new turbo, this 3-inch V-band is mounted here. This 3-inch V-band is already attached to the stainless exhaust housing. It's another little eBay special, that $27 turbo blanket. I'll see how that works. I have a 4-inch Spectre 90-degree boot, and this really, I love carbon fiber. This is a 4-inch carbon fiber tube I got from Amazon for about $50 for that piece right there, and I have a K&N cone filter on the end. I'm going to put the holes where the dimple dies are, and in that opening right here will be a NACA duct to direct air in, to help give me maximum IETs. Another cool thing I got was a oil filter relocation kit and an oil cooler from Amazon. It's made by G-Speed Racing. It's pretty nice quality. Comes with black AN lines, which match these, the braided nylon. The only thing is, where some of this is machined, the machining is not cleaned up super good. So, like where the lines go in, it needs a little bit of deburring. I'm going to round some of those edges to help promote flow. But these are -10. The unfortunate thing is the -10 necks down to about a -8 inside. Don't know why they did that, but The kit does bolt directly on, come with everything you need. Plenty of slack. I'm actually going to have to trim the lines and reattach the fittings because they're so long. The problem I'm having now is finding out where I'm going to put this cooler because I have no room in there, as you can see, and no room over here very much to speak of. Not that it'll get airflow anyways. An oil cooler without airflow would be kind of pointless in my mind. The only problem I'm having at the moment, besides parts that don't fit, which is a big thing and it's very annoying, is the intercooler. I had to push the radiator back 2 inches, which I'll show you where I did it. Push the radiator back 2 inches to cut the brackets up and move the AC condenser in 1.5 inches, so I could move the intercooler in as far as possible, because the intercooler is contacting the bumper. This is the bottom side, it's upside down. It's contacting the bumper all along here and all along this. Well, I already cut a good 3 or 4 inches off of this on both sides, and it's still hitting. And I cut this little flange off that was right here. Oh, there's part of my roll cage. The Jegs roll cage is only $265, but it's trimmed to fit. It'll fit a notchback or a hatchback. It's nice quality. Comes with 6x6 floor plates, which I have right here. They're 1/8 inch thick. That was a real bargain compared to the bolt-in ready roll cages. This one just takes a little bit of trimming and a little work, which I enjoy, so I'm okay with that. These are them little dimple dies. Very nice quality. They work very well. These again are from Eastwood. No, I'm sorry. These are from Amazon. Eastwoods were a little more pricey. But these little gussets come in a box of 10. The little 1/8 inch steel gussets. I just like the look of them. The holes that'll match with my dimple die theory. But let me show you the bumper. This is probably what I disliked having to purchase the most. My LX bumper was trash. This is a brand new Ford tooling bumper. Give me just a second and I'll show you what it looks like on the car.